Good morning, everyone. I'm Ted Rall. Manila Chan is getting the door, and she will be back, I don't know, in a minute or two. So just hang tight. You're watching the Ted Manila Information Show, the TMI Show for Thursday, August 21st, 2025. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. As always, we're here Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Please like, follow, and share the show. Really appreciate you joining us on YouTube, Rumble, and on audio. Let's talk a little bit. Hey, Robbie West, producer there. I don't know what's going on with Manila, but she said
I just popped on.
She said there's a sus person at the door. You know, I have a policy as a New Yorker of not answering sus people at the door. And it saved my life in Afghanistan. There was a night back in 2001 where some guy was going door to door to every reporter's doors where we were staying. And everybody was smart enough to not answer the door except one guy. His name was Ulf Stromberg. He was from Sweden, from TV4. He went to the door, and Northern Alliance soldier, aka Thug, shot him to death through the door. So don't answer the door when you're not expecting someone. That's my rule. Or be the first person to shoot through the door.
Yeah, I would typically agree with that. Here, a lot of times, we don't really have a big problem with people coming to the door. We have more of a problem with wildlife coming up to the door.
That would be sus.
Yeah,
like if there's a bear or something like that. But anyway, here's what we got.
I'm here.
Hi, Manila.
I'm here. I'm alive. So I could see on my doorbell. I don't know. The dude was lingering around for a while because I could see from my doorbell camera. Moments.
Aren't Trump's national goonsmen supposed to kill all those people and reduce the crime in DC?
Well, I have video of this person standing there, and I had to make sure we went live first before I went to the door, but he walked away. But he walked away. I could see him leaving my property. I don't know where he went, so I went outside to kind of go look around. But the dude was like hanging out on my porch.
Why
the dude was like
he's obviously a Haitian looking for cats. I mean, let's just call this what it is.
Likely.
I think he's a Latino. I can't tell. He's wearing a ball cap, but he was like hanging around.
Call ICE.
Yeah, I was about to say, just call ICE.
Hello.
I mean,
he was like hanging out on my porch, like leaned over, looking at his phone.
Don't go outside. This
peeking,
is why you
peeking in the window.
Okay, hello. Don't go outside. In the future, you're inside, they're outside. That's how you like it to stay. Why would you go join the person who's outside? Like listen to yourself. There's a suspicious person who I don't know loitering outside, so I went out there.
I'm
like a nosy reporter. Wait,
we're gonna have to
keep talking.
You went
I'll
to
be
college,
back.
But all right.
There's a car here. Hold on. Let's see. Hold on.
Call ICE.
Call ICE.
All right, call ICE. Robbie and I we'll bring in the show while you're out getting killed or whatever. Okay.
Weird shit.
Remember, Manila, in all horror movies, if you run, you die.
That's true.
So
and also, if
I'm seriously considering opening the safe and going to pick up a 9.
Manila, first of all, don't the river. Just call ICE and be done with it.
Either don't go outside or do go out with the gun. Those are your choices. If you must go out because curiosity killed the Manila cat, then go out with the gun. Otherwise, because it will make him leave. Or you can shoot him.
Okay.
It is your American right. Well, you might be back. You might be back.
Yeah.
Okay.
I might be back. If I don't come back, you know what?
Yeah, Robbie and I'll take it from here. Okay. So
I don't understand this.
No, am I wrong here? I mean, don't go out. You're inside. That's the purpose of it. That's what inside is for. Inside is for protecting yourself from people who are outside.
You know, it's almost like borders. Borders are for protecting yourself from the people who are outside, just like walls and doors are.
That's
true.
The whole. That is what borders and walls are for. That's true.
And if you're armed, then I mean, if you absolutely just have to open the door, then you open the door and you exercise some Second Amendment American freedom, and you call it a day.
True.
Or you just call ICE, because if the dude is Latino, I mean, that's the target rich audience right there anyway.
That's why you pay your tax dollars. They don't do anything else for you. They don't provide health care, but they will do that. Okay, so let's talk about, here's what we got on store for you all today. We have an international man of mystery. A guy, a Ukrainian national named Serhii K has been arrested in Italy. He's being charged with planning and orchestrating the 2022 Nord Stream 2 pipeline bombing. This show talked a lot about both as an independent show and previously on Sputnik. We'll find out what's really going on here. You probably can imagine where I'm going to come down on this, but we will unpack the murky aquatic geopolitics of all this. Also in the news, radioactive shrimp rampage. The FDA has issued an alert about Walmart shrimp, potentially tainted with cesium-137 from Indonesia. So if you have any of that great value shrimp in your freezer, toss it. Paul Weller, the lead singer of The Jam, old punk band from the late 70s, early 80s, he's suing his former accountants. They dumped him because he's anti-Zionist, anti-Israel, pro-Palestinian. He's going to court to say, y'all can't do that. There's also different kinds of time personalities. Ever wonder why you're always late or always early? We'll talk about the 4 time personalities that everybody has. All right, Robbie, should we just get into it? Manila's taking a long time.
Well, she's probably dead in the yard right now or something. I'm serious. I don't know why she doesn't call ICE and just be done with it. I do not understand this.
That would be a better call. Although the problem with ICE is they might see her and deport her.
Well, but that's possible. But then, though, she could actually do a live stream from South Sudan and then show everyone the conditions that the people who are being deported are going through.
That's true. That would be a TMI Show exclusive.
It would be.
I don't know how good do you think the bandwidth is at the South Sudan detention facility?
I don't know, but Manila's really kind of she's a little bit of a Luddite anyway, so she could even just call in. She could just take pictures with her flip phone and just send them to us.
That's really. I mean, of course, I am a little hypocritical here because people who've watched the show regularly know that I have dipped out to let the grocery guy in from Fresh Direct.
Yeah, but that's different. I mean,
I was expecting the delivery though.
Well,
and I buzzed him in.
Well, he's bringing you something of value that you paid for, whereas this Hispanic dude is just hanging out on her porch.
Yeah, so I don't know why I would go. It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, if I was going to go, I would introduce them to my Jericho 941. That would be a fun conversation.
All right, let's go ahead and start the news, Robbie.
Okay.
She's back.
Oh, she
okay, I figured it out.
I'm sure you did.
I think he had the wrong address. He's now pulled up into my neighbor's yard across the street. I think he came to the wrong house. So I think he's some sort of service worker.
So he's a landscaper.
Because I went to explore. I went outside to explore. I got video and I zoomed in on the license plate and the person, and I have video of everything just in case.
Call ICE.
You shouldn't have gone outside.
Okay, I'm going to go away now that the actual host is back, and I will talk to y'all later.
Okay, mystery solved from my mystery guy.
The host's mind is a little bit in question.
The mystery man from my house is solved. He's like squarely pulled into the neighbor's driveway now.
Yeah, that's how a lot of people in America get killed, is by going to the wrong address or by the cops going to the wrong address.
I don't want to make news by shooting at somebody that came to the wrong address.
Yeah,
well, if you called ICE, you wouldn't even make the news. I mean, you'd be a national hero for getting some migrant deported.
ICE was actually here like 2 weeks ago, and they took away one of the lawn guys.
But you should call them again, because that's where this one is here. He's picking up on one of these jobs.
No, don't call
call ICE.
No, you should have called before. Now that you know that he's.
Now that I know, I'm like, okay, he's going to the neighbor's.
Plus, I mean, honestly, Robbie, with all of these ICE deportations, the way things are going and all the landscape is going to be gone, there's going to be lions running through all the lawns of suburbia.
There's going to be jungles in all the suburbs.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to go back. We're going to go back to the way it was in Jurassic days.
And nothing of value would be lost. I mean, could you imagine just the cleanup program on the streets that you would have. All the homeless get eaten by tigers. And
that would be entertaining. I will say that.
Oh my God.
It'd just be an ecologically sound way to clean up the streets.
Well, the wolves would certainly run loose. Okay.
Thank you for the donation, Wandon. Wandon says, my ribs. So I think that's from laughter. I'm not dead. So I'm not calling ICE.
Only your judgment.
Okay. Here, want me to call ICE for you?
Anybody die for coming to my doorstep?
All right. Well, never a dull moment. All right. I'm reading the first story here. All right, Jaws it. Let's have it.
All right, let's get to the actual news.
17 minutes.
Removing Robbie. Although I think he'll have some words to say about this.
Federal prosecutors in Germany say a Ukrainian national suspected of coordinating a group of saboteurs who blew up the Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline in September of 2022 that transported Russian gas to Europe has been detained, not necessarily arrested, in Italy. This is not convoluted enough at all. The man, being identified as Serhii K, was arrested
Serhii.
What?
It's it's
oh, it's like it's like Sergey, right?
It's like Sergey. It's like Sergey, right. But they do the g as a h in Ukrainian.
Ukrainian's language is wrong. I'm on Team Russia here. Anyway,
I know
the man named as Serhii K.
Serhii.
Whatever, was arrested. It's not even him anyway. He was arrested by the Italian cops in Rimini overnight. The prosecutor's office say he faces extradition back to Germany on charges of causing an explosion, anti-constitutional sabotage, and destruction of infrastructure. What about eco-terrorism? The bombing of the 2 Nord Stream pipelines in the Baltic Sea happened in the first year of the Russo-Ukrainian conflict, came as the Europeans, particularly Germany, were under pressure to stop using Russian gas. Ukraine says that they had nothing to do with the sabotage attack. I actually believe them on that. German prosecutors said the group of saboteurs hired a sailing yacht using false identities. Divers then planted the bombs. They say here in the story, investigators believe. I don't think investigators believe that at all, but that's what they're saying. They didn't give any information on the other people aboard the yacht or say anything about who else might have been involved or about motive. Investigators have been tight-lipped, but 2 years ago, they said they found traces of explosives in samples taken from a yacht named the Andromeda that was searched as part of the probe. You know, there's a lot of possible explanations for that do not necessarily mean that it was used in the attack. German Justice Minister Stephanie Hubig praised what she called a very impressive investigative success. I guess standards in Germany are lower than here. She said in a statement that the explosions have to be cleared up. So it's good we're making progress. The explosions ruptured Nord Stream 1, which was the main natural gas supply route, and damaged Nord Stream 2, which never had entered service because Germany suspended its certification process shortly before the war. Russia accused the U.S. of staging the explosions, a charge that Washington denies. Ukraine accuses Russia of involvement, which is, of course, retarded since it's their pipeline. The pipelines were long a target of criticism by the U.S. and some of its allies, who warned that they posed a risk to European energy security, something that obviously keeps the Americans up late at night by increasing dependence on Russian gas. You know, in 23, German media reported that a pro-Ukraine group was involved in the sabotage. Ukraine said it had nothing to do with it. Okay, so this is a ridiculous story, Manila. I mean,
yeah.
So let's revisit.
Fall guy.
Totally the fall guy, right? But
why this guy? Why Serhii?
Fuck if I know. We'll find out why him. But I'll just say it's not. The yacht story is bullshit. Okay, so let's revisit. The pipeline is hundreds and hundreds of feet. It's about 500 feet or more below the surface of the Baltic Sea. Okay, so it's encased.
Which is a very cold water, I understand.
Right, very, very, very cold. It's basically colder than the North Sea. I mean, you know, this is north of Scandinavia, right, is where it is. It's basically close to, it might be in the Arctic Circle. It's cold as shit. Okay, It's cold. And then also, it's hundreds and hundreds of feet down. Now, to put this into perspective, recreational divers that, like, I'm certified as a scuba diver, can go down to 130 feet, okay, using standard tanks. That's all. Now, 130, one standard tank of air at 130 feet with an aggressive dive down to 130 feet allows you to stay at depth for about 8 minutes. If you stay any longer, you're going to suffer the bends when you come back, and you may or you probably will die.
That's from coming up, right?
From
like
coming up, if you come up too fast. So you can go down as fast as you want. You go down fast, fast. But then you've got 8 minutes
but you have
to do your
slowly.
thing. And then at 8 minutes is Manila. It's the total length of the dive. 8 minutes from bottom
the full
to top.
Version has to be 8 minutes. So like however long it takes you to descend, do your bomb, your C4 planting.
Yep.
And then you got to allow for, like, let's say double the time to swim up.
Well, you have 8 minutes to get up.
So
so it's the whole thing.
Is that even possible in 8 minutes?
Well, you can do it. I mean, in the Caribbean, I've done it. But it's a very quick, you go down, you see what you got to do. You look around for 30, 45 seconds, maybe a minute, then back up, right? That's how you do it. And so it's not impossible. Now, Manila, this is 450 or 500 feet down. You can't do it as a conventional diver. You have to use mixed gases. This is something that only happens at the state level. At this point, okay, so just so you know, at 130 feet, even in broad daylight, there's no sun at all. It is pitch black. In the Caribbean at 2 p.m. with sun beating down 130 feet, it is dark. You need flashlights on your helmets. Right? So now diving is exponential. Okay, so going down to like say 32 feet. If you go from 32 feet to 64 feet, it's not twice. The depth is twice as much, but the pressure is 4 times more, which means your gas is dissipated 4 times more quickly. Now you go to another 32 feet. You go to say 96 feet. Now you're at a factor of 8. Your gas is going 8 times faster, and so on. So just imagine all those multipliers from like 130 feet, 8 minutes. You go to 260. You can do the whole thing in about.
We're talking
do the whole thing in about a minute, and you can't really do it because the pressure is so intense. So it's literally not physically possible. Now, who can do it? You can get certainly state actors can do it. They could use a submersible.
I just want to point out this is like somewhere between the average story of a building. The average height of a room is like roughly 10 feet, at least in the U.S. Roughly. So this is going roughly
story building.
This is roughly This is like a very long dive.
It's basically like going half the height of the Empire State Building under the ocean, and you are a little bit shy of half, and you're down at the bottom. Okay, so here's the thing. You can't get there. It's not possible to even get there, much less do anything. Now, once you're down there, bear in mind the water is cripplingly cold and insanely, like, the pressure
and with
is
that kind of pressure,
incredibly intense.
Could you move your arms around, Ted? I'm not a diver,
barely.
obviously.
You barely.
Okay.
It's going to be very, very like soupy down there. You're going to get down there, and also they have to penetrate the outer shell of the pipeline, which is encased with concrete and to protect it, right? So it's like.
But Serhii is a Superman, is what I'm hearing from the
and
German
his buddies are fiction.
Drunk Supermen.
It's not possible. Yeah. We're like, it's like
drunk Ukrainian Supermen.
Let me tell you, this is the tale of a tiny ship. It's not like that. Okay, so they get down. So so I knew my so my cousin's deceased husband was a professional diver for the French military. For the French Navy. He would dive like that, dude. And one of the things, to give you an idea of how elite he was, he helped bring the nuclear bombs down to the bottom of the atolls in the Pacific Ocean for nuclear testing back in the 1970s and early 1980s.
So so he's a badass Bear Grylls kind of a guy.
Badass motherfucker, right? So the thing is, so how do you do it? You bring mixed gases. It's the only way to do it. Who has mixed gases? Only the most elite, like in the private sector, the only people who could do it are, wait for it, people who work for deep sea energy companies, right? People who work for Shell and put in like those offshore oil platforms and have to go test it. The guys who had to
this
go
is like
fix
restricted
Deepwater
materials.
Horizon. Yeah.
So this is definitely restricted, limited availability materials.
And limited availability personnel. Very few people can do this. Now, that said, I don't think that my cousin-in-law could possibly have handled this as a team of individual divers. They could bring it down, but
much less Serhii. Serhii.
Not to mention they have to do some work down there, right? They have to bust into the pipeline to plant the thing. They can't just leave it on top and hope that it sits there.
On the concrete, on the encasement.
They have to affix it. And they have to get the fuck out. And they have to get the fuck out of there before it explodes.
It's not just the concrete. Like, I don't know much about the diving part, but I've done enough stories over a 20-year journalism career to know that these underwater pipelines are not only encased in concrete, but then they are kept warm by way of having like a 2-foot rubber lining underneath the concrete to make sure it stays sealed. So we're talking at least like 3+ feet minimum, 3+ feet of encasement before you actually get to the pipeline itself.
Because the pipeline itself is at high pressure, right?
Right.
And
so it has
to be and also you don't want it to leak out, right?
Right. So this is we're talking several feet of protective material over the pipeline itself. And then the pipeline itself is, probably bigger than your average Volkswagen, right? Like,
yeah. It's huge. Gonna be, now I've seen them. They're massive, right? It's like, if you think of Ted,
I feel like you're saying I feel like you are discriminating against all Ukrainians by saying that Serhii can't do this.
I am. I'm impugning the glory of Slava Ukraini by doing this. I'm also saying it is 100.0% impossible what they're alleging. That's going to be his defense. I couldn't have. And so who could have done it? Well, there's you need a state actor with like a submersible who's going to go down there.
Adrian says the Ukrainians used the Titan submersible.
Yeah, that could work. Now, bear in mind, right? They have to go down. They have to plant the thing. They have to set a timer or a detonator, they probably did a timer or a remote control detonator, probably a timer, and they have to get out of Dodge before the thing blows up because they don't want to be anywhere around it when it goes kaboom, right? So all of this takes time. And it's hard. So you have to have a special submersible. The Titan submersible couldn't have done it because the Titan submersible, all you could do is look out the port at the fishies. That's all you could do, right? You didn't do it didn't do anything else. So
this story couldn't be more unbelievable. So for the Germans,
we're talking about like a sophisticated. You've seen them, the ones with like the claws, right? So
yes,
the thing has to be outfitted with the claws.
For the Germans to say, "Aha, we did this. We got it with the help of our Italian buddies. We caught him." Now
we don't really
he's going to be responsible for $11 billion worth of damage.
We do know that Seymour Hersh, however, had the most detailed account of what probably did happen. We also know for a fact that Joe Biden called up, I think, Angela Merkel at the time and said it's done right after it happened, before the news broke internationally of what had happened. It should also be pointed out that this was a big fucking deal. First of all, you're attacking a major economic piece of infrastructure that affected the economy of both Russia and Europe, and has still had a ripple effect on the
EU. They're an EU member investment plus a NATO member investment,
and it fucked up their economy for a couple of years. Not to mention,
it's still fucked up.
The ecological effect. I mean, the last thing we needed were millions of pounds of greenhouse gases pumped in a matter of days into the atmosphere. And that's really not like the most awesome thing that the Earth really needs right now. But that's what, allegedly, possibly.
Yeah, Peter in the Rumble room. Peter in the Rumble room says, "Correction, Ted. That was Liz Truss who said it is done."
Oh, that's
right. Which is correct. It was Liz Truss who was the prime minister for 5 minutes.
That's right.
And remember, she did not outlast the cabbage on a shelf.
Also,
that was put out.
Or could she outthink the cabbage?
Normal air. Or could she outthink it? That is true. But
so the Brits, and the UK
everybody,
the UK and the Brits share all intel. They're completely on the same page. Like if the UK does it, it's like husband and wife. One does it, the other one knows, vice versa, right? So
the Germans, you mean?
The UK and the US. So that's why Liz
Truss. Oh, because you said UK and
the UK and the US share all intel.
Yes.
So
yes, it's hand in glove.
Yeah. So that's why, Liz, I forgot about that. Thank you.
So because she was like she was there for like 5 minutes. Every sign was there.
Criminal
Ted.
Beyond belief. And so I want to know, of course I want to know why this dude, how are they going to sell this? And it's so
the Germans won't reveal his identity. They're just saying it's Serhii K.
It's funny to me that like, as if it was impossible to figure out who he was. It's funny to me that even as like another Amanda Knox movie is like,
I just saw that,
has just dropped.
Movie,
that like, again, the Italians are framing someone. Here we go again.
The Italians like, we found this Ukrainian guy. He's here. We got him.
Very good. I appreciate
that. We got the culprit.
This is absurd. Manila, I got to ask you. I had forgotten about Nord Stream 2. We stopped talking about it. We kind of assumed we'd never know the truth.
It was like the biggest, most major ecological disaster.
Why now? Why are they why are they trying to frame up someone?
I was
now
just
that there's no one's talking about it anymore.
So here's the thing: Georgia Maloney and Frederick Merz were just here 2 days ago.
What
in
Robbie
DC.
said is correct. Joe Biden said at a press conference that he was going to take it out. He did.
Yeah, of course. But so remember, this potential for peace could be in the offing. All the EU leaders were just here. Giorgia Meloni of Italy and Frederick Merz of Germany were also just here. I mean, all of them were sitting there around Trump's desk, the Resolute desk, right? In the Oval Office, as he's like, there was no audio from this, but it looked like he was like standing over them and demanding, like, we're doing this. We're doing XYZ. And lo and behold, Ted, 48 hours later, the Nord Stream culprit is caught in Italy, no less. In Italy. And Italy, as we know, is, their police and intel community, squeaky clean, totally trustworthy. They never do anything horrible like robbing passed out tourists in the hospital in Rome. That never happens. And then the police never find it. Your passport just goes away. The American passport just gone. None of that. Totally squeaky clean. Although I will compliment their the Roman healthcare system in Italy. I will compliment that. I don't know about the police, but however, I don't think it's a coincidence that Trump says this is the shit we're doing. There's no audio of it, but Trump is telling these people this is how it's going to be. And then 48 hours later, we get a Nord Stream culprit. So I think, Ted, that even though I don't believe that the Serhii guy is the actual guy or people, that he was multiple people at once. I don't buy that for a second, but the gesture of this happening, I think that's the key. I think with Germany and Italy both saying, oh, we worked together, we caught the Nord Stream bomber. Yay, now peace abound. I think that's what this is like leading towards. And they're trying to, and Ukraine has to be in on this. Like they're giving up one of their citizens, like they're giving this guy up. Like
why not? They already lost like what, a million people?
1.5 million soldiers and other People,
yeah,
yes.
So, I mean, I guess to the Ukrainians, people are cheap. In fairness, some people would
So
say
they're giving up.
Russians
They're
view it
giving
the
up
same
this
way.
guy. So I think that's what this is this lends itself to the Europeans finally caving by way of Donald Trump to say, hey, look, good gesture towards peace. We caught the Ukrainian Nord Stream bomber. It was the Ukrainians. And Zelensky has no choice but to be like, oh, I guess he's a Ukrainian citizen. Our bad. There's no way out of this because Donald Trump has now said it's
the
done.
Germans are gonna. I mean, obviously now the Germans have to railroad this guy, and I don't know how they're gonna do it. I mean, I'm not familiar with I assume they have a real court system. I don't know how they're gonna do it. I'm sure you have some rights when you're charged, or maybe they'll just tell him to plead guilty, and they'll just say like, well, don't worry, dude, we'll take care of you, and like, you'll serve a couple of years and then we'll let you out, and there will be a numbered account waiting for you in the Seychelles. Who knows?
Well, they might do with him like the alleged RFK assassin, right? Like he might be doing the perp walk and oops.
yeah.
Some psycho fan,
right,
or something.
That could happen.
I mean, I don't foresee this ending peacefully for Serhii. I'll just say that. I just
Agreed.
And Ted, let's not forget, by the way, the weird assassinations that were happening in Spain this summer. People are not talking about that anymore, right? There were like defectors from the Ukrainian government that were assassinated, murdered. Like one guy he had just dropped off his daughter at her school, and he was walking back to his Mercedes, and he was taken out. And the Spanish authorities can't catch the guy. They don't. Where did he go? It was caught on video, but the guy got away. It was like a Ukrainian hit. A lot of weird. I don't know, Ted. So
this is your story.
All right, so this one is speaking of water, radioactive shrimp. The FDA has warned the public not to consume certain frozen shrimp products sold at Walmart due to a possible contamination of cesium-137, which is a radioactive isotope. Yum.
Yummy.
Can't wait. It said the warning affects the Great Value brand of raw frozen shrimp, because they have, some are already cooked, they're pink or whatever, but this is the raw frozen shrimp sold at Walmart stores, adding that anyone who purchased these should dispose of them immediately. But Ted, if these are radioactive, should you just be throwing them in the garbage?
Well, that's a good question. That is a good question. You probably should be calling the what is it? The Nuclear Regulatory Commission?
Who do you call?
Guys in big yellow outfits should show up, and
you should be calling
Karen Silkwood.
I would be calling Biden's radioactive whatever with the shaved head that wears dresses and steals luggage.
Oh yeah. She could come over.
She, they, them.
Yep.
Yeah, she, they, them was the nuclear. I mean, to be fair to she, they, them, they did graduate from MIT with some sort of nuclear something degree. So maybe that person's out of work. Maybe they can work cleaning up the Great Value radioactive shrimp. Biden's gone. That person's out of work. So, So the statement from the FDA says they're actively investigating reports of cesium-137, the contamination in shipping containers and frozen shrimp products shipped from Indonesia. It says that the CBP had detected the cesium-137 in shipping containers at 4 U.S. ports: LA, Houston, Savannah, and Miami. The containers tested positive for the isotope. They have been denied entry to the U.S., so they can't port. That's good, I guess. The FDA added that although it had not confirmed the presence of contamination in any of the commercial product here in the U.S., the shrimp products appear to, quote, have been prepared, packed, or held under unsanitary conditions whereby it may have become contaminated with CS137. I guess that's the shorthand for it. And may pose a safety concern. If you have recently purchased raw frozen shrimp from Walmart that matches this description, throw it away. Do not eat or serve this product, the FDA says. The FDA said limited exposure to CS137 can cause an elevated risk of cancer resulting from damage.
I would think so. Yeah.
I just feel like it's so funny that we have to like write that out, like as if people don't.
It's like
maybe they don't. Maybe they don't know. So the amount of CS137 the FDA detected is below its levels of concern for imported food, it said. Even so, the agency said the recall attempts to address concerns related to longer term or perhaps repeated low dose exposure. The most common form of CS137, according to the EPA, it says it's produced via nuclear fission in order to be used in medical devices and gauges, and is often used in radiation therapy to treat cancer. CS137 can also be a waste product of nuclear reactors and has been found near nuclear accidents. People are often exposed to small quantities of CS137 due to the isotope remaining in the environment following nuclear weapons testing in the mid-20th century. CS137 can last in soil for years, which means it often ends up in the food cycle and the food that people ingest. Typically, this is at extremely low levels and are not necessarily harmful to people, though the FDA emphasized in its statement even low levels of CS137, the radiation can eventually build up in your body and become harmful. Because, you know, Ted, your body doesn't seem to want to clear nuclear isotopes. It's super weird. It's like our bodies weren't designed with any organ that processes nuclear isotopes. Super weird. Large amounts of the isotope, meanwhile, can be incredibly dangerous, and in addition to increasing cancer risk, can cause burns, radiation sickness, and even death, according to the CDC. So,
that's not good, right?
Okay. That's all bad stuff. So it's like if you purchase like in bulk your frozen shrimp from Walmart, and it's from one of these contaminated containers that's like glowing, Ted. That's like the glowing container, like like and they're like discounted shrimp, everybody. So you buy it in bulk. Okay, you have it in your freezer. Cool.
Sorry.
And somebody reads it, and they read this FDA warning and CDC warning, and they're like, yeah, but it says low doses. I'm just having a few in my shrimp cocktail. Totally fine. But not realizing, by not reading the rest of the warning, is that isotopes can build up in your body and you just won't be able to clear it. That's something. And I wonder, Ted, if this is, I mean, being that it's from Indonesia, the shrimp in Indonesia, do you think this was from Fukushima?
No. So cesium-137 is mainly is into play in our society as a chemotherapy thing. So I'm guessing.
But it says it can be from reactors. It's the garbage from reactors.
It could be. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. We're speculating here. But Fukushima, first of all, I mean, you know, it's so many thousands of miles away from Indonesia. I seriously, and it was so long ago, I seriously doubt that's it. I mean, if I had to guess, I would say they put a lot of shit into the same shipping container, and you know, stuff gets intermingled. And I wouldn't be surprised if like the cancer cesium like got too close to the shrimp or something like that.
Yeah, I'm trying, like, I'm not that surprised that there's no mention in any article of the suspicion of where the cesium could have originated from, because as we've talked about on this show, the Fukushima stuff eventually washed up into Los Angeles beaches.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
But
it's
that
not
was
like
a long time ago. It was years. I mean, and water degrades radioactivity a lot.
Yeah, it cleans.
So,
yeah, because that's why you need a lot of water to actually run these nuclear waste reactors.
mhm.
Like you need tons of water, but then yeah, you got to
It's for the
think like
cooling also.
right. So Scary Girl says that's why nuclear energy being clean is bullshit, and no one knows what to do with the waste. That is a good point, but it's a small. Yes, in size, the smallest amount of waste that's produced, but then all you need is just a teeny tiny few drops, just a few drops of nuclear waste to really contaminate whole fish farms, right? Or whole shrimp farms or whatever. And then it gets into our food supply. And then Americans wonder why we're all dying of cancer.
Well, seafood is always also very vulnerable, right? I mean, Minamata disease was mercury poisoning in fish in Japan in the, I think in the 60s, and the fishermen observed that the dock cats who fed the leftover fish were like walking in circles incessantly. They were suffering from mercury poisoning. That's what they called Minamata disease. Because after the town where they found it, where they identified it.
Oh my God.
Seafood, mercury getting into fish is like a big thing. Shrimp are very vulnerable. Lobsters, shellfish in general. So, I mean, you really you do want to maybe not get your shellfish from just any random source. This might be like, local and north is good. Like if you're on the East Coast, I don't think I would eat. I would try to avoid any shellfish that's not at least north of like Boston.
Well, I mean,
on the
Baltimore,
West Coast, north of Portland or north of Seattle.
Well, Baltimore is known for not Baltimore itself, but I mean, Maryland is known for their crabs and crab cakes, right?
Yeah, famously.
Like it's famously known for that. Like they're known for shellfish out here. So this
Crab
gives me
cakes
a
be
lot of
good.
pause. They are good, but it gives me a lot of pause, Ted. I'm already suspect. I'm already sus of our food supply as it is, and like I've gone to great lengths to buy. It's about the same price is to go buy direct from farmers, like grass fed beef and stuff like that, and you can tour their farms and think because I'm just. This is pre RFK Jr. This is like a Manila issue for many years. And I've gone above and beyond out of my way to ensure that the animal products that come into my home are not animals that are, radioactive. So
all right. And let's move on to one of my favorite punk rockers. I don't know if I would call him a punk rocker as much as a new waver.
Anyway, he's not a punk rocker.
Paul Weller is suing his former accountants because they stopped working with him after he started criticizing Israel over genociding the Gazans. The former frontman of the band The Jam, who one of my favorites for sure, has filed a discrimination claim against accountancy firm Harris and Trotter after his attorneys alleged that he was told back in March that the CPAs and tax advisors would no longer work with Weller or his companies because of his politics. According to a letter, a WhatsApp message from a partner at the firm said, "It's well known what your political views are in relation to Israel, the Palestinians, and Gaza, but we as a firm are offended at the assertions that Israel is committing any type of genocide," much as the Nazis were very offended at assertions that they were committing any kind of genocide. Anyway, everyone is entitled to their own views, but you're alleging such anti-Israel views that we as a firm with Jewish roots and many Jewish partners are not prepared to work with someone who holds these views. Just a reiteration, many people who criticize Israel's genocide against the Palestinians are Jewish. So being Jewish does not mean that you support Israel. Anyway, Weller's lawyers claim that in choosing to sever their business relationship with him, the firm unlawfully discriminated against his protected philosophical beliefs, including that Israel is committing genocide in Gaza and that Palestine ought to be recognized as a nation state. Weller said, "I've always spoken out against injustice, whether it's apartheid, ethnic cleansing, or genocide. That's true. He always has. What's happening to the Palestinian people in Gaza is a humanitarian catastrophe. I believe they have the right to self-determination, dignity, and protection under international law. And I believe Israel is committing genocide against them. That must be called out. Silencing those who speak this truth is not just censorship, it's complicity. I'm taking legal action not just for myself, but to help ensure that others are not similarly punished for expressing their beliefs about the rights of the Palestinian people. The letter says that he will donate any damages he collects to humanitarian relief efforts in Gaza. Cormac McDonough, lawyer at Hodge, Jones and Allen, which is representing Weller, said his case reflects a wider pattern of attempts to silence artists and public figures who speak out in support of Palestinian rights. He said, within the music industry especially, we're seeing increasing efforts to marginalize those who express solidarity with the people of Gaza. Manila, this case reminds me a little bit of here in the United States, the guy who, the cake maker, the bakery in Colorado that refused to create
the gay cake,
the gay wedding cake for a gay couple.
No, it's just called gay cake.
Okay, and they wanted to, and it went all the way to the United States Supreme Court, which I believe ruled in the bakery's favor, and said that due to freedom of religion, they were not, they didn't have to serve all comers. They could turn people away if they wanted to. This is
on an artistic. No, but it was based in
artistic
expression.
Because they were
as a baker.
They basically were forced to express themselves artistically in a way. And the question was, can a cake be art? And so that went up there, and that's
they certainly can be art.
Ruled. It
that's
can
for
be.
Sure.
That's true. And so but this is the UK, not the US. They have very different laws.
Yeah. So I don't
know how it's going to go, but I mean, Paul Weller's a famously cranky dude. And he was probably not the guy to fuck with on this.
Well, for me, as very libertarian leaning, I could see both sides of this, of like a business should be able to do business with whomever, whatever customer they so choose. So, I guess a part of me can see the side of the accountant saying, we don't want your business anymore, Mr. Weller. But on the other hand, also on the libertarian bent, is that like, well, you also, if you're going to be capitalistic because of libertarian beliefs, then you really shouldn't judge anybody based on their beliefs. All money is green. Okay, I'm talking about the U.S. greenback, obviously, but all money is green. I don't care. I think people should be able to separate business with their personal values. But for me, I don't care. Like if you pay the bill, I'll keep servicing and providing the business, whatever. But I think for a business, the government should generally just stay out and they should be able to service whatever customers they so choose. Robbie?
The UK puts people in jail for putting memes on Facebook. So let's acknowledge what this is. The UK is an authoritarian state that pretends to be a democracy, Ukrainian style. So there is that. And I don't know this dude. I don't know what the back end of it is. To me, what the way it sounds like whenever Ted was reading through the headline here is that they accuse him of being anti-Semitic because he spoke out against a genocide that the UK is supporting along with the United States. So there's that. And so there's not much worse that you can do to somebody than call them an anti-Semite or a racist and then publicly assassinate their character. I mean, by calling a journalist a liar. I mean, it will kill your career. You're done. There's nothing else that you can do. And so
they can't hurt Paul Weller, though.
So
I mean, could they debank him? I mean, don't say there's nothing they can do.
No. No, I'm saying they can't hurt him in terms of reputation-wise. Like music fans are not gonna, like, they don't give a shit. Like Paul Weller's Paul Weller, but But in terms of debanking and making his life miserable or difficult, sure, that can happen, especially because the UK has the most stupid anti-freedom of speech laws possible, where, you know, you can't say even, you can't post a mean meme or even think nasty thoughts, because then they'll thought police you and throw you in jail. So, you know, for in that sense, yeah, they can hurt him.
No, Robert, honestly, the worst part about this is that there are people who are in this world who are legitimately anti-Semites, and they say the Jews control everything, and if you go against them, then they will destroy you economically, you know, in every way, shape, and form.
Kanye famously said that on Twitter 1.0.
Yeah, that's my point. And so whenever you have a group of people that say that we are Jewish accountants, we're offended by what you're doing, so we are going to drop you and call you a anti-Semite in public, which is what they did. I mean, Ted just read it. All you're doing is feeding that.
Well, I mean, maybe there's a case for libel. There might be a case for libel for Paul Weller to respond, given that he is a public figure.
Well, they didn't issue any kind of public statement, so there's no libel here. First of all, let me read an ad.
Well, it's public now. I mean, you're reading the article.
Well, yeah, but that's the Streisand effect. That's because Paul Weller sued. Let me read this ad, and then I'll fill you in on the UK law that's relevant here. Set your clocks, mark your calendars, and buckle up for the best NFL primetime football action. Starting September 4th on Westwood One, you can catch all the bone-crushing hits, last-second heroics, and edge-of-your-seat action that NFL Thursday, Sunday, and Monday nights have to offer. Whether you're tailgating, driving, or chilling at home, don't miss a single snap. Listen on the NFL app, the Westwood One Sports app, at westwoodonesports.com, or just say, Alexa, open Westwood One Sports. If it's the NFL, it's on Westwood One. Okay, so here's the relevant law that we need to talk about here. In England, there's something called the Equality Act of 2010. It prohibits discrimination based on protected characteristics, including religion or belief, in the provision of services. UK case law says the criteria is that the belief must be genuinely held. It must concern a weighty aspect of human life. I mean, that's genocide certainly is that. Attain a certain level of cogency and be worthy of respect in a democratic society. Obviously, Weller has consistently advocated for Palestinian rights. He participated in events like the Gig for Gaza. So obviously his beliefs are genuinely held and constitute, respect in a democratic society. What the defense is going to be is freedom of association. Harris and Trotter are going to say we can pick whatever clients we have. Generally speaking, it looks like Weller is probably going to win.
Yeah. Again, we don't know UK law. So I guess, I mean, I just personally think it's really dumb for, if you are a business, to reject a paying customer. Like I just, they're not doing anything to, if they're not going into your restaurant and destroying your property, they're, short of something like that, I don't get why any business would decline any kind of customer. But okay, sure. I just don't get any of that. That's all. Like I'm very simplistic and black and white. That way it's like, just keep it simple. If you're a business, do business. Keep politics and feelings out of it.
Well, so I think that, I think that given the, I have some sympathy for the accountants. If they want to, they can definitely pick and choose their clients. But I don't think they have the same protections as the gay cake people do. It's because they're in a different country. In the U.S.,
yeah, but you can drop.
They probably
can't you just drop clients?
In the U.S., you could, but I don't.
Yeah,
think
I don't know about. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be like under UK law. It looks like the more important consideration is the right of anyone to not be screwed over in their business, for example, because of their political beliefs. So if you happen to believe, and bear in mind, like they didn't say, you're an anti-Semite. They literally said, we take offense at the idea that you're accusing Israel of genocide.
Well, they are.
I mean, they're taking offense at something that is now widely believed by, including the government of Great Britain, which is why they've decided to,
But don't they have the right to feel offended by anything they want to feel? I mean, if you feel offended, you feel offended. Like,
sure, they can feel offended if they want, but they're feeling, it's like me feeling offended that Clovis has ears. I mean, the point is, it's like, it's true that, I mean, it's,
I'm not saying
it's not,
I'm not saying I disagree. I agree with them.
I'm saying it's no longer, I believe that Israel has been waging genocide against the Palestinian people from the very beginning of the state of Israel. But the point is that, like, this, it's not controversial on August 21st, 2025, that Israel is committing genocide. That is now a mainstream view that's expressed by the International Court of Justice and the International Criminal Court and so on. That's why there's an arrest warrant for the Prime Minister of Israel. So, in fact, the controversial view is to not think that they're committing genocide.
Robbie, final thoughts. Then we got to go to our last topic.
Well, I mean, it just goes to show just how far England has fallen. I mean, we're talking about the land where the Magna Carta was written, where King John was slapped down and said, "No, you are not God." And I mean, just think about this for a second, and then we'll go. These people talking about how they were offended by this man's opinion. I think it's like back in 2022, if I remember right. There was a British guy. His name was Adam Smith or Adam Connor, something like that. Anyway, long story short, he was standing outside of an abortion clinic praying about 60 feet away from the clinic on the other side of the road. His girlfriend had went and had his son aborted.
Oh.
Because he has no rights. He's just a father, right? But I mean, it doesn't matter. He's standing on the other side of the road praying for his son who is being murdered by his mother. And he has no control over it. And he gets arrested. He got arrested for praying on the other side of the street while his girlfriend was murdering his son. Britain is completely lost. And for the life of me, I do not understand why the people of Britain do not rise up in armed revolt today and take their country back. Their ancestors should be ashamed of them.
Aren't they disarmed?
So what? They have an army. I mean, seriously, why would you tolerate this? I mean, let's just say that you just don't rebel. Let's just say that you're so completely cucked that they can't muster to do that. Just don't go to work for a month.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been to the UK in more than a decade, I think. And from all I've seen as of recent on social media, I'm not sure I have any interest in going to visit again until, I don't know. It doesn't look like the UK I remember, let's say, a decade ago.
Connor, you were right about both. He was arrested under the Antisocial Behavior, Crime, and Policing Act of 2014, which establishes a 150-meter zone, just a little bit under 500 feet, around abortion clinics in England and Wales.
Wow.
It criminalizes any action that intentionally or recklessly influences your decision to access abortion services.
He was praying for his son who is being butchered alive in that clinic.
Wow.
This is the land of the Magna Carta. This is the land where British common law was born.
No, it doesn't exist anymore. That place is long gone.
Freedom of speech was born. It is gone.
That was long gone, Robbie. Long gone. Like I said, the whole landscape in the UK has completely changed.
Winston Churchill did more to destroy Britain than Adolf Hitler ever could have done.
All right, we got to go on to the last topic.
We know what your time personality is, ditherer. Let's get to it.
No, actually, it's this show. I guess we have the ability to cover it as long as we need to. So there's this new study that's out of what kind of time personality you have, which I think is kind of dumb, but here's what it says. Okay, it says, just as we have our individual personalities, which encompass traits such as extroversion, openness to experience, and neuroticism, we also have time personalities. These personalities capture our relationship to time, whether or not we're punctual, how much time we believe we have, and specific time-related habits we may display. What is a time personality? According to a shrink, founder at somewhere in New York, that's irrelevant. Time personality is our natural style when it comes to managing time. It dictates how you think about time, handle time, and different patterns around time that you have. Explaining this shrink, she says for the majority of the US, or excuse me, the majority of us, our time personality tends to fall along a spectrum from very rigid to very flexible. Another shrink, a board-certified psychiatrist and assistant professor of clinical psychiatry at Columbia, Ted, at your now discredited university.
School of Beauty, yeah.
Beauty school, says time personalities can impact a person's ability to function and have the potential to lead to certain mental and emotional disturbances. He says they're sometimes found alongside mental health conditions such as ADHD. So here are the 4 common types of time personalities.
Mm-hmm.
One is the time optimist. That person tends to believe they have more time than they actually do. They don't really feel pressure under a time crunch. Time optimists are the ones who leave for a dinner reservation with just enough time to get there, as long as there's no traffic and they hit every green light. These individuals tend to underestimate how long things take, leading to a pattern of ongoing tardiness. Then there's the time anxious. On the other end of the spectrum, we have time anxious personalities. These people tend to be anxious to begin with, they say. According to the shrinks, they assume everything can go wrong, will go wrong, meaning traffic delays, getting lost, blah, blah, blah. Therefore, they show up to commitments far, far in advance. For time anxious people, being early isn't just about punctuality, but easing the constant worry that they might be late. Then there's the time bender category, driven by adrenaline seeking their emotions or inspiration, or perhaps a combination of these. Though they are highly productive, they also thrive under pressure. A time bender is the person who seems to live in their own personal time zone. Being 10 minutes late basically counts as being on time. That's how they view things. The shrinks say time benders lose track of time easily and might say something like, "Oh, where did the time go?" Or and the shrink says these people tend to be highly open, curious, and creative, maximizing flow state when they've entered it. And then there's the time blind. That's Ted. Then there's the time blind. For those who identify with the time blind personality, sensing the passage of time is challenging. This type is frequently found in those with ADHD or have other executive function issues. They might start a task. By the time they check the clock, an entire hour has disappeared somehow. It's not that these folks don't care about being late or making other people wait. Without external reminders or cues, it's easy for them to lose track of how long things take, which makes sticking to a schedule more challenging. So without external reminders or cues, it's easy for them to lose track of how long everything in daily life, right? So the shrink says that for those, especially with ADHD, time blindness isn't just poor time management. Their brains actually have a difficult time registering and processing temporal information, causing impairments in working memory, executive functioning, and temporal discounting. What exactly drives our varying relationships with time perception? Apparently, personality is the key player. People with more type A personality traits may be more likely to be time anxious. That's actually me. I'm never late to anything. My show's always, started on time. And maybe it was a TV thing. I'm actually a time anxious person. I'm never late.
Manila.
No, we didn't. We started on time.
No, we started our timer 1 minute afterwards. We did.
That's today. And then we also have this new 5-minute thing. Anyway, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, but we started the 5-minute thing at 10:01.
When you didn't pop on until 3 minutes before show, so don't give me that shit, Ted. Don't give me that shit. Me and Robbie were on 50 minutes before. You're a time bender.
I am.
I'm the type A. I'm never late to appointments. I was always early to set at RT. No one ever had to chase me down. My work is always done early. I'm very type A when it comes to that. I have clocks everywhere. I have reminders on my phone. I have written and digital calendars blinking and I'm an anxious time person.
You have clocks all over your house?
In every fucking room, almost every wall.
I have a little travel clock in my bathroom.
I do too. I have it in the shower. I have it over the sink. I'm constantly aware. So in contrast, those with type B traits tend to be more flexible and lean toward being time benders. That's Ted. Neurobiological factors also play a role. When the brain is on high sensory alert due to anxiety, time appears to feel slower. Higher dopamine levels in the brain can speed up the brain's internal clock, impacting our perception of time. Finally, age can affect our time perception. This is because adults have fewer new experiences and slower dopamine metabolism, which makes time appear faster. So
if you want your life to seem longer, have more new experiences.
I guess so. I guess that's part of, building. You create new neural pathways.
Put a tarantula in your bed. It's a new experience.
That would be. Robbie wants to know what he is. You're time anxious. You're never late, Robbie. You're time anxious also. You're not a time bender.
Usually early.
Yeah, he's usually very early, and he's a very, very responsible person. So
that's true.
Definitely type A. And because we've caught Robbie on hot mics a couple of times, definitely type A.
Definitely type A.
Definitely type A. I'm kind of chill, but when it comes to appointments and stuff, I'm not late. I'm always there. I have learned though, because I used to show up way, way, way obscenely early, like this article points out, that you seem like a loser. So I have learned to just sit in my car and wait till you're like 5 minutes early and not 30 minutes early, because then you just seem like an anxious weirdo, which I am. And I used to, kind of mill around outside and light a cigarette and just kind of mill around outside and not like show up and tell the hostess, "Hi, I'm here for what's such and such party." And the hostess always goes, "Ma'am, you're 45 minutes early. You're definitely the first guest to arrive. We don't have your booth ready yet." So I've learned, at least I'm there. I'll be outside the door. I'm having a cigarette, or I'm going to sit outside on the patio, enjoy a cigarette and have a drink. Let me know when other members of the party arrive, because you seem like a weirdo.
It's best to be early. It really is. I like getting to the movies well ahead of time, and I can find the right seat. And,
define well ahead of time. You're a time bender.
I think 20 to 30 minutes before the show is like a good amount of time to aim
20
for.
minutes is good.
It also allows, in case something comes up, you have a delay.
Robbie says 40.
Looking for parking.
That's how I used to be, like Robbie. And then I realized that everybody was annoyed with my over punctuality. The whole reason for that.
Tell me what you think about this. So this is, others will disagree, but I think New York has a rule. New York has a rule, which is, if you show up 10 minutes late to meet someone, you don't owe them any explanation at all. You don't even have to acknowledge that you're late. You just walk in and say hi. If you are 10 to 20 minutes late, you have to apologize and say, "Sorry, I'm late."
So the 10-minute window is no apology at all?
No.
Just like, "Oh, hey, I'm here. What's up?"
Sup. 20 to 30, you owe an explanation. It could be a lie, but it could be like, I was attacked by a mutant killer shrimp from Walmart. And the subway was late, and Mayor Adams was shaking me down for money, or whatever you want to say.
Right. My subway car was hijacked by some lady.
Nazi frogmen, whatever. So the point is, you have to come up with a reason. You got to be like, I'm so sorry I'm late. Effusive.
No, I think that's fair.
Excuse. And beyond 30 minutes, they don't have to be there. They could leave. They can and leave.
The first party who arrived?
Yeah.
Beyond 30?
If you show up more than 30 minutes late, you have no reasonable expectation to believe that they're still there.
I think that's a fair. I didn't know that was like the unspoken New York rule, but I think that's fair. I think that, yeah, I think 5 or 10 minute grace period.
They might be there an hour later, but you don't have a right to expect that.
I think that's fair. 5 or 10 minutes, I think is a decent grace period. I'm often annoyed when everyone shows up 5 or 10 minutes late, or like an hour late, or whatever. So I have a funny story about
Zoom is different. Zoom is different. Like if you have a Zoom meeting, you absolutely have to be there in the room before the beginning of the meeting. There's no showing up 30 seconds late. Like that's not acceptable.
No, that's a whole different time conundrum for people with these time issues, right? Like I and probably Robbie would show up, like the article suggests, to our destination much earlier than needed, not for the benefit of the other people. It was for the benefit of our anxiety. So we're not like, oh, am I going to get there? That's really what it is. It's to quell my own nervous system, that I would show up early. Because I've learned my lesson, right? Being from Los Angeles, like there's always going to be traffic. And I had a boss in the car business that used to tell me all the time, if you're on time, you're late. So, and this was like,
that's ridiculous.
But it's just stuck in my head forever.
True.
But
for business meetings, that's true. Oh, for job interviews, that's
for work, right? So he said, if you're on time, you're late. Get here early. I'm thinking, fuck you, dude. Like, you're not gonna. And this is like 22-year-old Manila, right? So I'm like, fuck you, dude. But as I've gotten older, I've learned to accept.
I walked in 30 seconds late, and I was taking a shit downstairs because it was one of those moments. And he goes, "Where the fuck have you been?" And I'm like, 30 seconds. I mean, it's not like I was on the radio. I mean, God, I remember that. Well, that's an example, right? Like when I was on broadcast radio, terrestrial radio in LA. It's like you have to be there early, because it's like when that light comes on.
Yeah.
You have to be there. I remember only one time that I was late. And it was just couldn't be helped. It was a catastrophe. My car broke down on the bridge, but there were no cell phones at the time.
I mean, no, that happens.
And there was been other times when the guest, the host after me was late, and they were like, "Ted, keep the needle moving. Just keep talking until
that's different.
Here."
That's different.
Yeah.
But I personally think this study, I don't know how, who commissioned it, like why. I know, generally speaking, in LA, people are time optimists. They're that first category. They always think there's more time. And because of this,
that was she would always,
she's a Californian, right?
She was a Californian, and she would show up and I would be like, how come you're so late? She'd be like, well, there was that one time that it took 22 minutes to get from home to here. And I'm like, so that one time that the train was running downhill and like the connections,
you caught every green light.
There was no delay.
There was no old lady crossing the street.
Right. No one held the doors. That one time it all worked out great.
So,
and so from then she used to think that optimism, by the way, it transfers to everything. It would be like, so how much is a ticket from New York to California? An airplane ticket. And she'd be like, well, it's $198. I'm like, you got a $99 one-way fare one time, and you never stop talking about it. But to me, a standard ticket between the coasts, is $450 to $550.
It's $500. Yeah, that's the typical going rate. Okay, so I'm not one of those optimists.
That's the average.
I'm a cynic, and one of my best friends,
also the waiter mentality. Have you ever that?
No, wait, hold on. I gotta share this. No.
Okay, go.
Hold on. So my friend, I'm a person of color. One of my boy besties, he's a person of color. Big black dude. One of my besties back home, love him to death. And we always poke fun at our colored people time, right? Because our families are always late, our friends or other family, whatever. But the two of us are very anxious on time. We're always on time. And so when he had his wedding, he deliberately printed the time to start 90 minutes early. His wedding invitations were deliberately set to fool you.
This was for whom? Like
for him.
His wedding. Who was he trying to
for everybody?
Come early.
Everybody, because we're all black and brown people.
My God.
So I get there and I'm like the first guest at the wedding. Me and one of my girlfriends, we show up and we're like, Jay, what the hell? Like,
Stoop Dog wants to know, how do you calculate travel time in LA? It took me 3 hours to go 30 miles once. Oh, it could take longer.
It
has
fast,
to do with the
by
time
the way.
of day.
That's true. Look, it took me from Beverly Hills, and I lived in downtown LA near Staples Center at this point, to get from Beverly Hills proper to downtown LA Staples Center. As the crow flies, it's probably 6 miles. Sure. As the freeways go, it's probably 16 miles. It's not that far.
At 3 a.m, can be done in 15 minutes.
Oh, sure. 20 minutes. Like, not a problem. But because I left the meeting, I wished I could leave at like 2:00, but the meeting went to about 2:30.
3 is the witching hour in LA.
It took me almost 4 hours to get to my apartment.
I believe you. Getting past the 405 is like crossing the Great Wall of China. Good luck.
It takes you, just for reference, it would take you, if you leave like early in the morning or, a random hour that's not traffic hours, from Los Angeles to get to Las Vegas is a 4-hour drive. Presuming you don't pull over to eat or pee or whatever.
Yeah. It's a
4-hour drive. It took me from Beverly Hills to downtown LA.
Oh, yeah.
4 hours. So that's how you can't calculate. And I guess people just don't really care. But so Ted, that was my friend, because so we show up and we're the only 2 people there. We're like his 2 female besties. And we're like, dude, what's going on? Did nobody RSVP to your wedding? Like, what? And he was like, oh no, I just made do for colored people time.
That is seriously hilarious.
I was like, what the hell? She and I were, why the hell didn't you tell us? Like, why we're 90 minutes early?
Professor Barack Obama at University of Chicago was famous for always being late to teach his own class.
Barack Obama?
Yeah, he was.
Really?
Yeah.
He strikes me as somebody that would be punctual.
No, not at all. Don't forget, he's Hawaiian. He's a Hawaiian.
Oh, that's
dude.
right. He grew up in Hawaii. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a double whammy.
See, Kenya would be different, but it wasn't Kenya.
He grew up in Hawaii.
Sorry,
that's
Don.
right. Really, really chill. One of my friends who's like some sort of engineer. Oh, waste engineer. Steve Anderson. Hi. The whitest and nicest dude from Orange County that you could ever meet. So he took a job in waste engineering something in Hawaii many years ago. And he would email me and be like, Manila, because I would entertain and just have these fantasies of living in Hawaii. And he's like, no, Manila, you would come here and mow people down either by gun or car. You could not live here. And I was like, what? Why? He said, because everybody's always late. Nobody's really they just mosey along slowly. No one has places to be. Time doesn't exist here. He's like, you would either go insane or you will go to prison for murdering people. So I went, oh, I did not know
that's
that.
like the famous island time thing. I remember
Right.
I took my mom to Turks and Caicos. She'd never been to the Caribbean before. We arrive at the little airport in Providenciales, and a taxi driver comes over and he's like, "Oh, do you want to ride to your hotel?" Sure. He brings us to his car and then disappears, obviously to find other passengers to see if he can like double up, right? Because he has a van. He wants to get as many fares as he can. So we're waiting, and we're out there for like 15 minutes, and my mom's like, "Where the fuck is he?" And I'm like, "Mom, it's the islands. Your time doesn't matter. In fact, you have to get into the habit of like, when you're thinking about eating, it's like, we just finished eating, so we should probably go to a restaurant now and sit down for lunch." It's like, "But we just had breakfast." Right, because we'll sit down. We're not going to actually see any food for 2.5 hours. So we should probably go now, because we'll be hungry by the time the food comes. If we wait till we're hungry, we're going to be really grouchy by the time we eat. So,
well, I mean, so that's the perception of time. I would say that this study is lacking the culture, lacking ethnic and racial, like the microcosm within each culture, right? And how they view time.
Breaking news, Manila.
So,
a New York appeals court has thrown out that $500 million judgment against Trump, eliminating the financial penalty, but not overturning the fraud case. While harm certainly occurred, it was not the cataclysmic harm that can justify a nearly $500 million award to the state of New York. That, according to appellate judge Peter Moulton, who wrote a lengthy and what the New York Times is characterizing as convoluted ruling, reflecting disagreement among the 5-judge panel. The president's appeal will now most likely go on to the highest court in the state of New York, which is not actually called the New York Supreme Court, providing him with yet another opportunity to challenge the finding that he committed fraud. This is a major setback for Attorney General Letitia James. This had been a career-defining victory for her after she campaigned for the AG's office, promising to bring Trump to justice. However, this does not vindicate Trump. The court still left basically the ruling in place that he did commit fraud. This case dates back to 2022. It's a case against the Trump Organization. This is the one in which Trump,
their real estate thing, right?
Trump inflated, his net worth in order to get favorable loan terms. This is the one where, for example, he lied about the size of his apartment. Remember that one?
Right. That's so stupid, though. But also in that he can say, where was their appraiser? That's the first complaint I had about that is like, so if you, like, I was a realtor. I operated in Beverly Hills and Los Angeles and in Hollywood Hills. Every time there's a stated, the seller, let's say I'm representing the seller. Every time the seller states what they believe their value of their home is, the bank of the new buyer is always going to send out an appraiser
the bank here did not do any due diligence.
Right. So why is he in trouble for it?
So what happened here, for people who forgot, is he basically went to a bank, lied about his assets and his collateral. The bank issued the loan based on
the most valuable property. It's the best,
biggest, most awesomest. And anyway, he
gildest.
They gave him the loan. There's no accusation whatsoever that he ever didn't pay it back. He did make all of his payments and ultimately paid it all back, but it was fraudulent. The court found for like $400-something million in damages, which was really a crippling award. So basically, the court's coming back. The appellate division has come back and said, Trump lied. He did commit fraud, but basically it's a slap on the wrist because he didn't do any harm. And he certainly didn't do, $500 million worth of harm. I think that seems pretty fair, Manila. It seems like justice has prevailed finally.
Yeah, I think that I also think not only should this ruling go this way, but I also think that did they make mention, Ted, on this breaking news, if the Trump organization is still allowed to function in New York City and do business?
They haven't mentioned that, and I think that's going to be something that has to come from the Secretary of State's office in New York.
Remember, Letitia James was also trying to ban all the Trump children from also doing business there?
Yeah, I think that's going to come out of the Secretary of State's office. They're going to have to determine. I suspect it's not going to change that because the fraud conviction still stands. So if you're found guilty of fraud, you're not allowed to do business in New York. So I suspect that's still going to remain in place. But we'll see.
Well, all right. So interesting breaking news. We'll see.
All right. For today.
That's it for us. It's Thursday, so tomorrow is Friday.
Every day is a yay for us.
It is a Friday. I already have some fun Friday topics, Ted, that involve vulvas and vaginas and
I love that one.
The ginas.
China.
You guys have to tune in tomorrow.
It's actually really a crazy story. We could just do an hour.
It's a really, really crazy story, like about the excesses of people, the people that have lost weight on Ozempic. I don't want to give away the whole story, but it's a bizarre Gina story. Bizarre story. So tune in for Fun Friday. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for tuning in and keeping the chat hot. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.